All righty. Mary, I'm just looking. I don't see any of the attendees in yet. Should we wait until they're here? Oh, there we go. They just all popped up. Fabulous. Yeah, great. Well, welcome everybody. Nice job navigating between rooms. We would love to kick it off with Majesco. And to lead the presentation from Majesco, we have Pat Davis, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Data and Analytics. Pat's going to talk more about Majesco's data and analytics solution, including Majesco's Copilot. Pat, thank you so much for doing this, and I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. All right, guys. So today we're going to go through how Majesco is approaching sort of big data, AI, and even table stakes data and analytics and how they all actually play together. And I think it's a really important part of this presentation today to have people understand that concept. But we're going to be showing you some of our AI solutions that really attack things like fraud detection, efficiency of your end users using platforms, and just in general, how do we get people to be more efficient? How do we give you guys insights to drive your business? So one of the things that we start this off with, and I used a similar quote last year, is to talk about a big data strategy that actually works for AI and for reporting and analytics and generating insights. So really, to kind of unlock the full potential of your data team or even like a vendor like us, we really need access to all your data in a combined area that's highly described and easy for us to work with. And that's really the most important, I guess, message I have in this presentation is that we really need to bring a lot of your data together into a single place. Here at Majesco, we actually do that through a variety of ways. If you're using our core products, all of our data actually comes into what we call our data lakehouse, which we'll touch on in a second. But really, we call all of our core platforms, because we do policy, billing, claims, distribution management, loss control, etc. What we do is, we're calling that our intelligent core platform. And intelligent core for Majesco actually includes all of these products that we're going to talk about today. So it's our data lakehouse where all Majesco data, all the way down to the transactional level, is included in that data lakehouse, which can automatically be streamed down to your data lake, regardless of what technology that is. We have embedded business intelligence and the ability for users to build their own embedded business intelligence reports. We build our own proprietary AI and machine learning. So we have our own data science team here at Majesco where we build out models, some of which we'll talk about today. And we include those in the core product, automatically integrated, so that you guys are getting a boost out of those models the moment they're released. We obviously have partners that we partner with on the AI and ML side as well. So we're never going to try and build a model that we don't have the data for. So there's good examples out there like Evolution IQ and others where we actually integrate with those other companies. They have wonderful AI models and we integrate those directly to our platform as well. So that's in addition to our own AI, we also bring in partners. And then recently, as of fall of last year, we have our Majesco Copilot generative AI assistant, which we'll be showing today. But at the end of this, though, it's really just having a real-time data platform with all Majesco data, having generative AI and standard machine learning and AI embedded directly in our platforms. We touched on this briefly, but the Majesco data lake essentially brings all of the Majesco data into one location using Microsoft Synapse, and it makes that data available to your end users through things like Power BI reporting directly in our platform. But it also serves as a foundation for all of our AI and machine learning activities where we're building out models and making those available to you guys. So the data lake is really, really important as part of our overall strategy. And regardless if you guys use Majesco or not, it's really important for your strategy as a company that your data from all your vendors is brought into a centralized data lake. We use a great product called Qlik, Qlik, for that. And that actually is what's syncing all of our Majesco data sets into one centralized location. I'd recommend that product for your organizations as well. It's not us that sells it, it's Qlik, but it's a great product. On the business intelligence side, we've actually significantly increased our end users' productivity by bringing the ability for them to build and run their own Power BI reports directly from our platform. So we have embedded Power BI for users to build reports, view reports, and to build their own dashboard widgets, as you can see here as well. So you can actually build mini Power BI reports and create your own Salesforce style dashboard for each user or for each user type. And again, we're using Power BI, so it's a very familiar technology base. And then we get into sort of the more exciting stuff, which is, Majesco's AI and our machine learning team. So our Copilot interface, which we'll be showing you guys today, instant inquiries, it's wonderful at summarization, finding data on claims and policy and billing items. It also can now take actions. So our Majesco Copilot can do things like closing claims or adding tasks or sending emails. There's a whole list of possible things it can do. And what's really powerful about that, which we'll show today, is the amount of time we can actually save end users. And we'll show you some examples of that. And then we have our custom AI models that our team works on. And we come out with about 2 to 3 new AI models per release. And we have models around property intelligence, where we can actually identify property risk using machine vision, as well as past loss control data. We have our subrogation intelligence, which can identify millions of missed subrogation opportunities. We have our litigation risk intelligence tool as well, which can actually identify claims that are going to more than likely go to litigation far before they actually go to litigation, so that they can be escalated or closed earlier or settled. And again, other best of breed solutions that we fully integrate, including partners, directly into our workflow. And that's a really important piece of this, is that you can have all kinds of cool AI tools out there that you guys might use or your underwriters might use. But at the end of the day, if they're not integrated to your core platforms, the use of those is going to be lower and it's going to be clunkier. So our approach really takes into account that we have to fully integrate these directly into the workflow and the platform that the users use every day. And with that, we feel that we're the only insurance core system provider that actually has a comprehensive AI strategy and data strategy across all of our products. So the items that we show you today, like Copilot, as an example, is part of all Majesco products. It's not just part of, call it distribution management or our digital products or our policy system. It's actually a part of all of our products. And we brought that all forward with our most recent release. And all of our data is part of our data lake, not just pieces of it. So regardless if you're using our digital solution in our policy and our billing, all that data is accessible and streamed to you automatically to your downstream data warehouses. Subrogation intelligence was one that we mentioned, but this was run against a carrier with about $100 million in annual loss payments. As you can see here, on an annual basis, we're roughly around $1 million of subrogation that we were able to identify that they did not take action on. So this one particular model, we were able to find about $1 million a year, and it's using natural language processing and all of the data from that claim to identify areas where we believe subrogation was missed. So this is a great way to basically highlight where we've missed subrogation and have somebody go back and try to subrogate that amount. Our property intelligence, as we talked about earlier, it's really about identifying property risk across 8 different scores and areas, including overhead score, a ground level score using street view images, roofing condition, vegetation overhang, replacement costs, similar risks, and natural catastrophe, as well as permits. And we're using AI with each of those to be able to identify bits of all those different, both external data, but also our own internal data of more than 20 million loss control surveys and over 250 million images that we at Majesco have with Majesco Loss Control. So really great tool for identifying risk and prioritizing property risks quickly and accurately using both external data and our loss control data. The most recent one, litigation intelligence, it's a AI classifier that within the first 30 days of FNOL is constantly running to identify claims that may see attorney involvement. As you can see here, we ran this against a sample data set just before, it was actually last week, and we found about 80% of claims before they went to legal, we were able to identify those claims and flag them for review. And we actually reduced the amount of effort involved in finding those claims by almost 90%. So these are the types of models that we like to build because they show real dollar return very quickly for our insurance carrier partners. And again, these are fully integrated into our products. I'm going to be showing you this today, but Majesco Copilot's a whole new way to work. It can do awesome things like data inquiry and summarization. And again, it now can do actions, copying quotes, closing claims, sending emails, adding notes. It's very similar in, if you've ever seen the Microsoft Copilot, that's why we're using the Copilot name. It's meant to be right alongside your end users, helping them with their day-to-day tasks, not replacing end users. This is meant to help them be faster and more efficient. So with that, I'm going to show you guys a quick demo of Copilot. So this is our main dashboard screen here. I have my Copilot interface up in the upper right. I've got my workbenches, but I'm a claims adjudicator, or I'm a claims agent. And I think the idea that we're going to go with today is that I'm getting an inquiry from the insured about a claim, and they want to close that claim out, and they also want to change their plan to 4-pay billing. So I'm going to go ahead to my Copilot interface up here, and then I'm going to ask it a question. So it says, you can ask me anything. So I'm going to go ahead and say, can you provide me a brief summary on a recently opened claim? It's going to say, well, what claim are you looking for? So right now it's actually querying the database and saying, find claims that are related to somebody named Kevin William. Now I could type in 123 Main Street. I could type in a policy number. It's agnostic to that. You can see here it went ahead and searched our database, and I can go ahead and select the one I know I'm looking for, which is this, and I'll say refine. And so now what it's doing in the background is actually going through, and it is summarizing that entire claim. So you can see here it's open. It was reported on 5/3. It was assigned on 5/24. Again, this is all test data, but you can see here it's got a claim score of 55, which is a low. That's for SIU. It's currently in force, a loss description accident, a financial summary, et cetera. Now I could ask it more questions about this, right? So I could say, can you provide a detailed story of all the events on this claim? And then maybe I want to know, once it comes back with that information, I want to know about the vehicles that were damaged, and maybe I want to know about the injuries and the ICD-10 codes. But, so you can see here, it came back with a detailed summary of, on this date, this person was hit, they were hit by this person, this was when the police investigated, this is an outline of the sequence of events. And I'll say, okay, well, can you provide me any details on the vehicles damaged? And now it'll come back and tell me what vehicles are damaged. So this is all great example of where we're doing data inquiry, summarization, where we're using large language models to do, and generative AI to do really complex tasks that, like, normally a claims agent, it might take them, 15 minutes to go through what I'm going through right here, 20, 30, clicks and screens and everything else. Where now I can just allow them to say, well, what vehicles were damaged and by how much, right? And if I want to know, what injuries were on this claim, and what ICD-10 codes, I can just ask that question as well. And so as I go through this, I can ask it anything about any of the data on this claim. I could ask it to write an email to the agent. I could ask it to, again, summarize the medical codes. So you can see fracture humerus, cervical strain, brain injury. Here's the ICD-10 codes. Is there anything else you'd like help with? Maybe I'd like to understand the SIU involvement. So I'm going to ask it, what factors contributed to the SIU score on this claim. And it can come back and tell me it's a claim score of 55 because it's within 31 to 90 days of prior effective date, and there was prior claims history with SIU involved, right? And then I could ask it, can you give me the financial details of this claim? And then I can show you guys what it looks like to go ahead and create a task as well. And again, although we are showing this kind of in a, day in the life kind of example, this is very freeform. This is not like your typical, I guess, old school Copilot. This is like the new school Microsoft Copilot. It's truly ask it anything, data inquiry, ask it to perform tasks, etc. It's set up for that. It's not rigid. It's actually very open and very responsive to generalized inquiry and use cases. So you can see here's the incurred loss, recovery amount, loss payments, etc. I'll say, can you create a task to contact the insured for feedback on the claim settlement process that's due by the 25th of July. And it's going to come up and allow me to close that task. And it will show me, some additional fields that I can fill out here. So I'm gonna say it's a medium priority and it's a follow-up and it's for me on 725. I'll go ahead and create that task. And then if I wanted to, I could go ahead and close that claim out by just saying close claim and submit, which I'm not going to do right now because this is one I use for a lot of my demos. But if I say go, it'll say, are you sure you want to close this? I say yes. So that's a very, very fast example of our Copilot interface. And that's across policy, billing, claims, all Majesco products, including loss control, DM, digital first, et cetera. And it's extremely powerful. And it really saves users a great deal of time. And to put that into perspective, these are some examples of minutes of how long it takes to do things within Copilot versus not. So creating a task or a reminder was about a 7-minute process before. So it was navigating to several screens. It was typing all the information in. It was clicking submit and creating that item. Summarizing a claim, we're saying 3 minutes. We did a bake-off and it took one person 13 minutes to summarize a policy or claim that I did in 30 seconds using Copilot. Or closing a claim. Again, 2.5 minutes prior, now it's about a half a minute. But during that demo, which I was watching the clock, that took us 5 minutes to basically take you through that whole process of inquiring about the claim, finding out all the information I need to know about it, getting me up to date about it, creating the task to close the claim, and then physically closing it in 5 minutes total. Whereas in the past, it would have taken, 15 minutes total, 20 minutes total in order for that to happen. So again, these are just examples. We have dozens and dozens and dozens of task types and things that people can do. And it really can make people much, much more efficient. And what's really cool is that what's now out with part of our spring release 4 is that same exact Copilot can now be embedded directly into your Microsoft Teams, your organization's Teams. So you can add it as a bot inside of your corporate Teams instance. And this will actually allow someone to single sign on into that bot to just their teams and make the same exact types of inquiries and actions we just showed in the main platform. So again, secure and compliant. We're using Microsoft for all of our backhaul and all this and making sure that we keep our data in extreme compliance and security. And none of your data is trained on or used for other things. So it's a really, really powerful tool that we're extremely proud of. And with that, I kind of say, the true power of this generative AI technology and a lot of these AI models really is about helping the end users. I mentioned it before, but this is about making your end users more efficient. It's not about replacing end users. The state of AI today is that it's a great tool for making people more efficient, but it's not really meant for taking a person out of the loop from a decision perspective. So here at Majesco, all of the places that we've embedded our AI, we use to augment the person at the end user, but we do not make the decision for them. We try to make it easier for them, faster for them, et cetera, but we always have them make that final decision and review. And so that's where this is the most powerful, is in supporting end users to make them more effective and better at their jobs. And with that, I can go to Q&A.
Awesome. Pat, thank you for that. For whatever it's worth, that bar chart you showed is pretty staggering. Those are some pretty elite efficiency gains. I know we have a minute or two left here for Q&A. One of the questions we wanted to ask was just, how do we think about the accuracy of the solution relative to the time savings? Is there like a metric you guys govern or present to clients with that gives us confidence in the ability to be accurate?
Yeah, I mean, with any generative AI today, regardless if it's Majesco or if you guys are looking at other technologies, it's not 100% accurate. It just isn't. So what we do is a lot of prompt engineering and we do a lot of data manipulation. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but like when you hand AI, especially generative AI, really well described data, it can create really accurate answers. It's when you kind of feed it like a PDF and say, give me an answer on this, that's not great. Like, that's going to be much less accurate than how we approach it with actually giving it a highly formed XML or JSON package of data that has really, really good descriptor words. So I think the way to think about it is that any vendor you're using who's using generative AI has to do a really great job at prompt engineering, grounding, and describing their data extremely well, which is where we started this journey at Majesco early last year.
Understood. Makes total sense. And I see the countdown clock ending. Nicely landed, Pat. The timing was perfect. Thank you so much. For all of you in the audience that have questions for Pat, please feel free to follow up. Um, for now, we're going to take a 5-minute break before we go to our next presentation. So if you can do the same thing, click the back to timeline button in the top left and join the next room at 10:45 Eastern, or in 5 minutes. We will see you all there. But Pat, thank you again. This was great.
Thank you. Appreciate it, everyone.